Hi, good morning. Today is
Good morning.
December. Merry Christmas. The holidays coming
Merry Christmas.
quickly. My name is Marty Forrest. My website is helloextraordinarylife.com. You can go there. There's a free ebook. You can sign up for that if you haven't done that already, and that will put you on the mailing list, and you get an email at least twice a week, sometimes 3, and it has a little snippet of what the upcoming call will be about and the time and what I offer. And I'm thinking somewhere in January, mid-January, I'm going to do my 6-week course again. So you can look for that. And I also do one-on-one coaching, and I do these calls every week. They're all recorded, and I put them out in an email on Friday. So you can get them in the email on Friday. They are also on the website, on the website under Insider Calls, and I was thinking of Facebook, and on the Facebook page, Loving Yourself from the Inside Out. So I post them all in those 2 places, so you can find them somewhere. If you've missed them and would like to hear them, they're all titled from the previous calls. So sometimes people like to listen again just to remind themselves of some tool they've missed or they've forgotten about or something. Sometimes as human beings, it's good to hear things over and over and over because that's just how we learn it. I have a coach, and I get on his call every week, and I'll hear him say the same thing over and over and over, and I just appreciate it because it's what it takes for me to remember it and just really get it in my brain to begin implementing it. Some things stick right away, and other things, not so much. Some things just take that because I'm so in my habit, which is what we're going to talk about today's, about holidays and all these emotions that show up. I have one of you that's in grief, one of you that's been moving, you're feeling kind of up in the air, and then I have another one who I know some stuff happened with family members before Thanksgiving. So lots of things show up at this time of year, and often it's the obligatory, I must be with my family, and I don't really want to be maybe, or I want to be with them, but I don't really like being with them. There's lots of stuff that we attach to the holidays and what we make them mean. Mm-hmm. And that's our setup. Like that, to me, that's our setup. When we're placing in that expectation, we're just setting ourselves up for disappointment, resentment, how we think it should be, how we might want it to be. Mm-hmm. And if it's not that, then we make it mean something else, or we get into our behaviors. And, I've watched my family change over the years. When we were kids, we all gathered. It was a big deal for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Big deal. And we all gathered. The kids all came together. The cousins all came together. And now my family is all over the map, very small. The matriarch that usually kept us together in our family, she died. And now that kind of came to my dad a little bit, and then he died. So the people that were like the nucleus have they went away. And now it falls to us, and we're a whole other generation of people who may do things different. Yes. And now we come to family or friends. Maybe we're not going to be a family. Maybe we're going to be friends, and we still get some nostalgia going on and some sadness going on about those that aren't here, and there's just all kinds of things that begin to show up. Mine has been, I don't really want to go back to Modesto to see family this year. Last year we went to my brother's, and my brother is generally the one drinking. Mm-hmm. Maybe a lot, maybe a little, but last year we went, the whole family was drinking. His kids are adults. Let me qualify that. His kids are adults. He's got 2 kids, his wife and him, and they're all having a drink. Most of my family does not drink. And if we do, it's a very rare thing. Most of my family does not drink that were there. Mm-hmm. I thought, this is so bizarre to me. Mm-hmm. He drank very little, and then I saw, my niece, I said, is that something? It didn't say alcohol on the label. She's like, yeah, do you want to try it? And something just pinged in my brain, and I went, is that alcohol? And she said, oh my God. She was just horrified because she knows I haven't drank in a long, long time. And so I'm saying, I'm giving you that little backstory because we're going to my brother's again on Christmas Eve. And I get into this space of, and I'm certain you can all relate to this, I'm having this expectation that it's going to be like it was last year. And I don't really want to go. I don't really enjoy spending a lot of time with my brother. Because I love him to pieces. I do. I adore him. I adore my family. And it doesn't mean I like being with them all the time. So I'm certain many can relate to this. We love our family. They're our family. They're blood. And then we have our chosen family that we might rather be with because we really enjoy their company a whole lot more. And then in the middle of that is guilt or whatever, shame or blame or whatever in the middle because I'd rather be with my friends, quite frankly, than go time, and drive down to my family's, drive 2 hours to go see my family that I don't really enjoy spending a lot of time with because we just don't have a lot in common. And there's that course of history. All right, so just giving you the little layout of whatever might show up for you and whatever you're going through right now is there are some things that I do when I get around people, my family. I find ways that I need to take care of myself. And that may be small doses of my brother. It may be I hang out with him for a little while in the house, and then I go find someone else to talk to when it gets a little charged in our conversation, or he's just said something that doesn't land well because he just has his way. And rather than getting angry with him and getting upset with him, I just look at him and go, and I walk away. I don't have to engage. I don't have to make it be something that it's not. I don't have to argue with him about it. I do small doses and then I move over to someone else to talk to in the conversation. Because if you have a gathering at your house, then you have these things. You have other people. You have other people you can go talk to.
That's a good one, yeah.
I have a question for you, Marty. Why do you go? I mean, life is short. I'm serious. Life is short. And you never know. And you prefer to be with, I know there's tradition, and I hear that the guilt. There's something about Christmas and being with people that you love. I mean, the experience that you're missing by not spending time with the people that you really want to be with.
Well, okay, so let me answer you.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go Christmas Eve, and part of it is that my mom's by herself.
Oh,
my dad.
Okay.
This is our second Christmas without my dad. So that's a big piece of it is that I'm not really, I don't want to be with my mom. And then and with that, we're going to have Christmas Eve at my brother's. And then, so we're going to go early Christmas Eve in the morning, get there around noonish, I think, and then we'll leave Christmas morning, and my mom will go hang out with my cousin for whatever they're doing. She's invited to go do that. And then I'll come home and I'll celebrate with the friends that are having Christmas in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I did make it work.
You left out the part about mom. Mom makes the difference.
Yes. So I did. And so thank you for the question because that gives me that little piece of clarity. So, and that can apply to anybody around this time of year. And it's not just Christmas. It's any gathering that you go to.
Yeah.
There are many Christmas gatherings that we go to. And maybe I'm not enjoying my conversation here and I find a way to exit. But when I get into the emotions of things, and somebody mentioned before I started the recording about, having all this judgment.
I just was looking at that on my paper when you said it.
Right. So we come with judgments about what we think it's going to be like, how we want to show up, and it's not that. And we have
how other people are going to be during the conversation. We project the conversation.
And now we've pre-scripted what it's going to be like.
Because it's been like that every other year, right?
Yes. And now we're not even fully present to the moment.
Right.
Because we've already scripted what we think it's going to be like. I've scripted that, we're going to have it at my brother's so that he can stay home and drink all he wants to. Well, I don't know that. Really, truthfully, I don't know. What if I've changed the conversation? Instead of being the victim of a conversation or held hostage in a conversation, which sometimes it feels that way, what if I direct the conversation?
Yeah, take control.
Well, it's when someone starts in their space of whatever they're talking about.
Wait, what did you say after that? What if I change the situation instead of
what if
feeling
you
like you're held hostage?
You redirect the conversation rather than being a victim or held hostage to their conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Or if you don't want to redirect it, rather than feeling like a victim, you just listen to what they have to say, and I don't have to engage with them.
Yes.
I can listen. I can get curious. Because eventually there may be a time for me to talk, and if not, I'm going to go find someone else. I don't have to take it personal that they don't give a shit about my life. Because they don't. They don't want to know about my life.
And it's not about, it's not about
It's not about me. It's simply, let me just be here. Because you know what? Here's what we bring, ladies and gentlemen. There's no gentlemen on the call, but I know there may be some listening. So here's what we bring, is we bring that light. We bring the peace. We bring the grounded. And people like being around us.
Mm-hmm.
They like it because we bring a good space and a good energy. Quite frankly, they don't care about what's going on in my world because they don't want to have that deep of a conversation. But they like being around me. And they like being around you. Mm-hmm. Because of how we show up and what we bring. Now, if we can simply step into a place of acceptance that we bring something energetically to the crowd, then that helps me, and it may help you, stay in that center rather than being a leaf on the wind of emotions, right? And getting into the judgment and the anger about who they are and how they are. They're family. They're going to show up how they show up. I get to choose how I want to show up. And I get to figure out how to take care of me. And if that means I go find someone else to talk to or I go outside, this helps me a lot when I'm in situations, especially in a house, where there's a lot of energy enclosed in the house. It helps me to go outside and clear the energy around me. Right? It helps clear my own feelings. This is where I mentioned in the email about where we take on other people's stuff. We're sentient human beings. We are all energy, every one of us, and we're all very sensitive. And those of us that have grown up in some dysfunctional and abusive or alcoholic or whatever kind of home that was, we become overly sensitive. Now we're reading our environment constantly, right? Now, often what's happening is that stuff's not even mine. So when you start to feel overwhelmed and you start to feel smothered and like there's just too much happening, step outside for a moment or step in another room away from all the people. Breathe. Linda knows this one well. Breathe. Take deep breaths. And just simply ask, is this my stuff? And if you pray, pray and ask Spirit to clear your space and clear the emotions that aren't yours. Because often we don't even know we're doing it. We just think it's our stuff because we can relate to it. This is how we take it on. I feel it. Oh, it feels like mine because I have felt this before, or it's a familiar feeling. I know what this feels like, or I still have some residual anger that's going on. Now I've taken on more of it and don't recognize that it's not mine because I know what it feels like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And it can be anything. It can be sadness, anger. It can be happiness too, but it's generally those heavy things that we pick up quicker
Judgment.
Judgment. And people are projecting their crap onto us as we do to them. When we can, so those are some simple things: stepping away, breathing, going to talk to other people. And then when you leave the place, then you can process it all. You don't have to do it in the moment. You can just kind of go, I got triggered. Let me be the observer of this, and let me get curious about what triggered me, instead of making it mean all kinds of stuff. Because it's usually the same trigger.
Right, it is.
It's the opportunity. When it's the same trigger, it's the opportunity to get some healing. To look at it.
Some of our judgments are from previous, from background or previous, or just our perception of who that person is and what everything is about.
Absolutely.
With them. And I found we have an extended family member who was, often found passed out drunk with her little child running around and had she just was a mess, and she's drugged him through all these relationships. And she has a new one that started last year, and I just had this judgment about her, and I figured anybody with her would probably be just like her, and the kids would be just like her, and I was just not looking forward to having them in my home for Christmas. And it turns out that, of all things, they showed up the first early. And I got to talk with her and chat with her while I was finishing up things, and I got to talk with the two boys that she brought with her. And as the day progressed, they even stayed for the 49er Dallas football game. And they were the last ones to leave. And I found that those boys, I just adore them. They're wonderful boys. They're good boys. And I told her, I said, I like these kids. I like what's going on. And you had better give them some stability and make a commitment and stop fooling around.
All right, so hang on there, Linda, because what we do leading into these situations that we know we're coming with some judgment, or we know we're coming with the preconceived how it's always been, is to decide before we get there. So we're prepared. Sometimes especially when I'm going to crowded spaces, or I'm going to family spaces, is I will prepare myself before I get there. Yep. And all that means is I've encircled myself. I've imagined I'm in a bubble to keep myself safe and protected.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say a prayer to help me be grounded and centered and show up as my best self. This helps me come in as the empowered, centered, grounded person, rather than walking into waiting and expecting and being the victim of what's happening. Now because I've become, when I have that expectation, I walk in waiting for it. And now I'm a victim of circumstance, and I'm looking for it.
Oh, and that makes you tense, doesn't it?
If
you're looking for it.
Yeah, so if you're having it at your home, Linda's having it at her home. I don't know if Joni is, but if you're having it at your home, just say, maybe you say your prayer that anybody who walks through the door they just get cleansed as they come in, so they can leave all their stuff out there. Whether they do or not, you don't get to control that, but you're at least in control of how you're showing up. Then you're the hostess, so you can flit around like a butterfly anyway.
Yeah.
Right? That's a good qualifier to say, I need to go check on these other people, or I need to go make sure, and just excuse yourself from the conversation. Has this been helpful?
Yes.
Yeah. Extremely.
Awesome. So in just a sentence or two, what are you taking away? Because I see we're at 9:31.
You need me cash. You need cash too?
I like to...
go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
From when you said, this is my main thing that I struggle with, and so when you said they don't care what's going on in my life, they just want small talk, that's the number one thing that's going on with, it has been going on for years. And so, and it hurts my feelings because I take it personal. So just, in a sense, I have to be an actress in part of this because I'm not fully there yet. But when you said we bring the light, the peace, and the energy, I'm just going to try to focus on, I always prepare myself and then I get lost, but I'm just going to remember that's all they need to see, because they've all got their own stuff too. And whether I want to stay in that victim mode, I need to just remind myself that as hard as it is to tell myself, well, I am in the victim mode, because they don't want to hear what I've just been through. That's not what the Spirit is about anyway, and it's not happening anyway. So because to me, if they cared, I would have had a phone call by now with all the stuff I've been going through, because our family is tight. But so all my job is to remember to be that light and be that peace and be that energy to the best of my ability, and I can walk away, like you said.
Good stuff.
So that's a really good reminder and tool.
Awesome. Anybody else before we depart?
I'd just like to say thank you to the ladies for sharing, because it helped me with my own anxiety to know that I'm not alone. And I like the bubble. I've done that. I identify with that because that's my problem. I feel the energy coming at me, and it's just, I don't want their energy. Stuff I don't want, So I'm going to keep practicing that. Thank you, Marty.
You're welcome. And here's another thing that I've done when I feel somebody coming at me. Someone suggested that I put imagine a glass partition between us.
That's good.
So that I'm still interacting and I'm fully present. The bubble helps, but that glass partition was a little more solid, and it seemed to, in my mind, it helped me to allow them to keep their own stuff and not plug into me.
Well, it's helped
Linda,
me.
you want to add anything before we